Noodles. That is moth. Name of present is the last class. Environment class. I'll try to finish it off by tomorrow. Okay. Environment. Then let us move for history. That is the biggest syllabus again. Like polity and economy. There are 3 portions in history: ancient, medieval, and modern. Fine. In environment also, there is lot many things to do. I'll prepare a short notes for everything. Okay, I'll dictate, and your writing speed should be like rocket today and tomorrow. What is the last thing we discussed? Animal diversity in India. Okay. Okay, then I discussed IUCN Red List, right? Animal diversity I discussed it. And plant diversity that to be discussed, right? Plant diversity. We will discuss. That is animal diversity. Take heading insectivorous plants. Plant diversity is the heading. In that insectivorous plants. What is insectivorous plants? Insectivorous plants means what? ROUS. What is insectivorous plants? The plants which eat insects. Does plants eat insects? Think of the plants. Some of the plants which modified its morphology to extract nutrients from the plants, from the insects. It will trap the insects by its own way in the modified morphology, and it will dissect it, and finally it will digest it, and that is the nutrient for that particular plant. So some of the examples of the insectivorous plants, sometimes they ask in the prelims, it is not for mains at all. Sometimes they ask because of its different characteristics. Normally plants do photosynthesis, right? So these are some exceptional, or you can say something which is curious in our diversity, right? So sometimes UP is going to ask, but most of the major insectivorous plants which everybody know, the UP is not going to ask. There are some very rare number of plants which is still left with us. So those very rare number of plants is important for UPSC. So I will dictate. Take insectivorous plants of India as a heading. First one, Drosera. Drosera. D-R-O-S-E-R-A. Drosera. The another name for Drosera is Sundew. S-U-N-D-E-W. Sundew or Sundew. S-U-N-D-E-W. Sundew. Okay. So leaves secrete dew-like drops that trap the insects. Leaves, the leaves which is present in that plant, that will secrete something, mucus kind of. Leaves secrete dew-like drops. You know, dew, ibni ತರ drops and secrete ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ leaves. That trap the insects. So insects what it will do? It will come and sit over that dew drops. So it will catch. Like it acts like a gum. The insect is not able to fly off from that leaf. It will hold on. Okay, like this. This is the modus operandi of the Drosera. Like that, it will catch the insect. Next one, Aldrovanda, second one. Aldrovanda. 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 This is something. Two halves of the leaves. The two TW halves. HALBES. HALBES. Two halves of the leaf blade, close dropping the insects like this. Leaf insect. The two halves of the leaf blade close trapping the insects. This is kind of directly attacking, physical attacking of the insects. There is no mucus secretion, nothing like that. Okay. Next, neptines, spelling NEPENPHES. NEPENPHES, neptines. So, it's like the leaf itself is a bar-like structure, jar-like structure, like this, right? This is a modification of the leaf modified like a jar. Okay. Insects will come under this, it will catch. Come within this jar, it will catch. It's a jar-like structure in which insects is what? It's very slippery, okay? The surface is very slippery. When insects sit here also, it will suddenly fall down to here. Very slippery. The surface is very slippery. So when insects reaches here, it will trap, it will close over here and try to inject. And finally it will digest it. Next, Utricularia, fourth one. Utricularia. Utricularia. It has a bladder's mouth. It has a bladder's mouth with sensitive hairs. When an insect happens to contact these hairs, the door opens. And carrying the insect into the bladder, along with little current of water. And the door is shut when the water fills the bladder. Door is shut when the water fills the bladder. Door is shut when water fills the bladder. So that is like this only, but there is a cap kind of this, and here the surface is quite large and there is a sensitive hairs. When insects come in contact with these hairs, it will automatically open. So when it sits here, it will close, and again the water is filled here and it will digest like that. Next, fifth one. Pingicula, Pingicula. 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 It's a sticky leaf sticky leaf. When insects land on the leaf, sticky leaf, S-T-I-C-K-Y. It's a sticky leaf. When insects land on the leaf, it's like sticky, very narrow and long. Okay. When insects land on the leaf, it will start to roll up. Leaf itself start to roll up, and it will trap the insects, and finally it will digest. The leaf margin which is present here will start to roll up, and finally it will digest the insects. These are the things. This is all about this one. Let us go for a new chapter in the environment. This one is over. Environmental pollution. Environmental pollution. Pollution. See, what is pollution? What is pollution? Pollution means what? Something alteration in the environment, right? And is that alteration or is that new form of kind or is that change, is it good for the environment or good for the living beings of that place? So it is unfavorable changes in the environment. Itself is environmental pollution. There is some changes and that changes or there is some alteration. That alteration itself is unfavorable. For its fauna and flora. The unfavorable alteration of our surrounding itself is an environmental pollution. Unfavorable alteration of the surrounding. See, environment pollution, most of the time it is anthropogenic. What is anthropogenic? Anthropogenic or anthropogenic? It is man-made. Okay. Sometimes it is natural, but most of the time it is anthropogenic. Environmental pollution. Anthropogenic are because of man's activities. Man's activities like direct or indirect efforts of the man. Direct or indirect efforts of the man. So these direct and indirect effects may change the physical, chemical, biological factors which is there in his surroundings. So these efforts which he done, which change the physical, the chemical and biological factors which is present in his surroundings. That itself is a pollution, environmental pollution. So environmental pollution is not just a physical pollution, it also chemical as well as biological pollution. Okay? This must be in your answers, underline the chemical, physical, biological characteristics. So that is definitely those changes is harmful for the life, not just the life of human, but entire life, entire living beings. Those kind of pollutions is harmful for entire life forms, biomes, or any desirable living things. So, word desirable is very important. Sometimes the undesirable plants and undesirable animals grow in a particular region. We call it as that as a pollution. So, which affects human life or any desirable living things. That is pollution. Which affects any desirable living things. Sometimes undesirable living beings may increase its number itself is a pollution. So this is the proper definition. It affects human life or any desirable desirable is very important. The word desirable. When it affects any desirable living beings, we call it as a environmental pollution. Okay. Take headings the types of pollution. Next, we can divide the pollution from pollutants. Pollutants like primary pollutant and secondary pollutant. We can again divide the environmental pollution in terms of pollutants. The pollution happens because of the primary pollution. Pollutants. What is pollutant? Pollutant is which causes pollution. Some object or some other thing, the material which causes pollution are called pollutants. P-A-N-T-S, pollutants. P-A-N-T-S. So, by looking at the pollutant, we can consider two types, or we can divide the pollution into two kinds. By looking at the pollutant, okay, primary pollutant and secondary pollutant. By looking at these two, we can diversify or we can divide the pollution into two kinds of. What is primary pollutant? The object or the thing which directly become the reason or directly pollute the environment. Without changing its form. It remains in the same form. Some item or anything which directly pollute the environment without changing its form. It persists in the same form. We can noun as that as a primary pollutant. And secondary means it will change. It will mix with some other things and it will change by interaction among the primary pollutant most of the times. Secondary pollutants, these are the outcome after interaction of the primary pollutant with the environment. Are two primary pollutants. Secondary pollutants is the outcome of the interaction of the two primary pollutants, or sometimes one primary pollutant with its environment. One primary pollutant with its environment, or sometimes two primary pollutants when it interacts itself and new kind of the thing which generates out of that interaction, and the new found object in itself acts as a pollutant for a particular region. We call that pollutant as a secondary pollutant. Okay, so this is it. For this DDT's example, DDT, primary pollutant, DDT. For this peroxyacetyl methane and peroxyacetyl nitrate, you can say PAN is the example. Nitrate. Peroxyacetyl nitrate. Peroxyacetyl nitrate. You know this how it forms? See, nitric oxide or nitrogen monoxide NO. This is the primary pollutant. When it started to interact with hydrocarbon, the outcome is peroxyacetyl nitrate. NO means nitric oxide or nitrogen monoxide. So this peroxyacetyl nitrate is secondary pollutant. This may be a prelims question. By giving 2-3 examples, DDT and peroxyacetyl nitrate, which is primary pollutant. DDT is primary pollutant. Peroxyacetyl nitrate is secondary pollutant. Something the name is bigger. So this is a trick here. Something the name it looks like this product is mixture of two products. Then you can come to the conclusion that is a secondary pollutant. Something the name is very small, and by looking at it you can come to a conclusion like no, this is not a mixture, this itself is a final individual thing. Then you can conclude that as a primary pollutant. Something mixture means that is secondary, an individual thing means that is primary. This is one kind of differentiating different pollutions. Another, by looking at the disposable form, we can again divide the pollution into two kinds. One is biodegradable and another one is non-biodegradable. This is according to nature of disposal. Nature of disposal. One is biodegradable. What is biodegradable? What is degradable first of all? Something which is degraded. Something which is degraded by microbial action are called biodegradable. First write this. Nature of, we can again differentiate the environmental pollution into two by looking at the nature of disposable. One is biodegradable and another one is non-biodegradable. Biodegradable means degraded by the microbial actions. Which one? Which degrade? The pollutants, okay. The pollutant which cause the pollution, which degraded, which can be degraded by microbial action. See, imagine there is a water pollution, okay. And by doing sewage treatment, by introducing some of the microbes to a particular pond, or introducing some of the elements in the water tank, some of the microbes, you can clean that entire tank. How? That microbes which can engulf the pollutants which is there in that water, right? So that is biodegradable. Means using bio, we can degrade the pollutants which is present in over that water or over that entire aquatic environment. So biodegradable. Non-biodegradable means which is not degraded by the microorganisms or not able to decompose by the microorganisms. So this is degradable and non-degradable. This is pollutant, okay, like a DDT. If the DDT is degraded by the microorganisms, means we can able to eliminate the DDT which is present in particular environment by using microbes, means that is biodegradable. If we are not able to eliminate DDT in particular environment by using microbes, that itself become a non-biodegradable pollutant, like that. Okay. So sewage pollution or water pollution, these are normally biodegradable. And DDT, plastic pollution, glass pollution, these are all non-biodegradable. Means by using microbial activity or by using microorganisms, you are not able to clean it out or you are not able to degrade it out. So DDT is not biodegradable, or you can say non-biodegradable pollutant. Okay? Is this clear till now? Next. Take it as air pollution. What is the normal cause of the air pollution? Air pollution. See, quick. What is the normal causes for air pollution? Causes, because of the emission from the vehicles, automobiles, emission from the industries, right? Sometimes the emission or the gases which is coming out from the volcanic activity. So these are the different for the, these are the different reasons for the air pollution. Right? Like there are only reasons under air pollution, we are getting reasons in that emission from industry, emission from automobiles, and emission from thermal power plants, emission from the coal burning, okay, emission from the coal burning. We usually burn coal from what purpose? For electricity generation, we burn coal. That too for bituminous coal means there is a less elimination. If you burn the peat kind of coal, there is more elimination of the carbon content. There are called syn gases. You know the syn gas, SIN, syn gases. Even water vapor is also a syn gas. Remember this. Hydrogen is also a syn gas. So these gases, and this carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitric, sulfur, everything is gases which may cause air pollution. Water vapor and hydrogen is also syn gas. This may be a prelims question. Let us discuss some of the common air pollutants. Okay, the chemicals are the airs, the gases which may cause pollution in the air, in the atmosphere. The first one, taking the common air pollutants. First one, sulfur oxide. Sulfur oxide. And hydrogen sulfide. Sulfur oxide and hydrogen sulfide. Sulfur oxide. Sulfur oxide. And hydrogen sulfide. HID. Sulfide. Okay. Released by coal combustion. COAL. Which is released by coal combustion. Both of them. Released by coal combustion. These gases will come out. And high concentration of sulfur dioxide, SO2, high concentration of SO2 cause internal and blood damage. So these are the effects of these kind of pollutions. Internal and blood damage, which may cause internal damage, blood damage to the body. And for the plants, necrosis of leaves. Necrosis, NECROSIS. Necrosis means like leaves are folded together. It will not spread over, fold together. Necrosis. Necrosis of leaves. And cellular collapse. Cellular collapse. These are the different outcomes, or these are the different effects over the environment because of these chemicals. So next point, low concentration suppresses the vegetation. When we saw a little amount of the sulfur oxide in the environment, it suppresses the vegetation. So little amount is also bad. Suppresses the vegetation as well as the reproductive system in the plants, and it also affects its yield. Reproductive system, and it also affects its yield. Next point, it causes bronchitis. It causes bronchitis. BRONCHITAS. BRONCHITAS. Bronchitis. Next, hydrogen fluoride. Next chemical, next gas. Hydrogen fluoride. Hydrogen fluoride. FLUORID. Fluoride. FLUORID. Released by active volcanoes. This was released by active volcanoes. And also from the aluminium steel industries. Aluminium and steel industries. Steel industries. And fertilizer industries. Fertilizer industries. So this fluoride burns the tip of the leaves. The effect. It burns, this fluoride burns the tip of the leaves. It affects the tip of the leaves. It will burn. And impairs the plant growth. Impair. IMPAIRS. It impairs the growth of the plant. That means it hurts the growth of the plant. It affects. And and most of the time it affects the fruits, young fruits, sometimes seedless fruits also may results of these kind of pollutions. Seedless fruits. Okay. Next, nitrogen oxide. Next, yes, nitrogen oxide. NitrogenOxides. Nitrogen oxides. Right. Anaerobic breakdown of nitrogenous compounds by bacteria. Anaerobic breakdown of anaerobic. Anaerobic breakdown of nitrogenous compounds by bacteria. Forest fire. Lightning. Are the source for these gases. These are the source for these gases. So it collapses the leaves and fruits. The results. It collapses the leaves and fruits. Enhance the green color. So underline this. This is normally we not able to accept in examination. It enhances the green color of the plant. Nitrogen oxides. Okay. So again, this enhancement of the green color is also not good for the plant. There is a something defect called chlorosis will happen. Chlorosis. 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 This is a kind of deficiency. It is a disorder. Next, hydrogen chloride. Next gas. Hydrogen chloride. CHLORID. Chloride. See, accidental spills from the chemical manufacturing plants. Normally, this is the only source. Accidental spilling. Accidental which come out from the chemical manufacturing plants. Spill, SPILLS, spills from the chemical manufacturing plants. Accidental spills from the chemical manufacturing plants. Okay. And some amount may also releases during the combustion of coal, combustion of plastic, and combustion of chlorinated hydrocarbons. Coal, plastic, and chlorinated hydrocarbons. Okay. Coal, plastic, and chlorinated hydrocarbons. So it causes plasmolysis of epidermal cells. Plasmolysis. PLASMOLYSIS. Plasmolysis of epidermal cells. Plasmolysis of epidermal cells. Next gas, hydrocarbon. Just hydrocarbon. This is from organic matter from natural gas and oil feeds. From organic matter from natural gas and oil feeds. It causes inhibition of terminal growth. It inhibits the growth. And chlorolysis of floral buds. It affects the flowering plants by chlorolysis of flowering buds. BUDS. Chlorolysis of flowering buds. Next, ammonia gas. AMMONIA. 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 See, ammonia from the refrigerator and AC, cold storage systems, refrigerators, ACs, cold storage systems, and most of the time from the ammonia fertilizers. Okay. It causes bleaching of the leaves. Bleaching of the leaves means leaf lost its color. It turns into yellow. Bleaching of the leaves. And a spot on the leaves. You can say rusty spot on the leaves. It looks like a rust. Rust over the leaves. Rusty spot on the leaves. And reduction of the both shoot and root growth. Okay, shoot means something which is above, tip of the top, root bottom. So it both reduces the root and shoot growth. SHOOT, shoot. Root and shoot growth. Okay, it also reduces the time of seed germination. Instead of time, you can say rate of seed germination. This also reduces or decreases the rate of seed germination. ಮೊಳಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. The rate of seed germination. Fine. Next, carbon monoxide. CO. Carbon monoxide. See, most of the carbon monoxides, the source is vehicular, automobiles, automobile engines, the emission out of the vehicles, okay, and which causes headache, dizziness, 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 dizziness. It reduces even oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. Oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. Next, tobacco smoke. TOBACCO. Tobacco smoke. Normally the causes is, the source is, what is the source of tobacco smoke? Smoking cigarettes and BD. Smoking cigarettes and BDs. BDs. Cigarettes. CIGARETDES. Cigarettes. Okay. What is the cause? What happens? What is the outcome? How it affects? Yellow ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ cancer, lung cancer, right, lung cancer, pulmonary and coronary heart diseases, pulmonary and PULMONARY, pulmonary and coronary, CORONARY, pulmonary and coronary heart diseases. Next is fluoride. FLUORIDE, fluoride. FLUORIDE, fluoride. It burns the plants. It burns the tip of the plants. Fluoride burns the tip of the plants. it also affects the teeth and bones. Teeth and bones. Fluoride. Something that in North Karnataka, water pollution because of the increase in fluoride content in the water. Because if you look at North Karnataka, that is not a hydrated region. They depend on groundwater for their drinking. So fluoride is more in groundwater. So because of these fluoride contents, the teeth and bone become weak in the North Indian children. This is a major source. It's a matter of concerns in North India. This fluoride pollution in water. Okay. Next, lead. Lead. So, continuous exposure to lead may cause circulatory and respiratory disorders. Circulatory and respiratory disorders. Okay, see, I'll give one tricks here. If something, they give a chemical name and they give the word may, it may cause this. Okay, whatever might be the this, that answer is right only. Because the word may, it may cause. Okay, now it might not have the chance. It may cause. So if there is an option, in that statement, if there is a word may means that option is right option. Okay, it may cause pulmonary something syndrome, or it may cause cancer, it may cause brain death, or it may cause RBC death, or it may cause something may. That may is right only. Okay. And another trick is something they told like these are the things only. There is no may. They give headache and stomach ache and something RBC death only. The word only is there means that is also wrong. Because that is not just the case. Something bigger than that also happen. Something other diseases may also come because of that chemical. We are not able to put full stop there. These are the general knowledge, common sense. So may means that is right only. Only means you have to pause and rethink again. Next, cement kiln and other dust. This is also source of air pollution. Cement kiln, KILN, means a dust, cement kiln and other dust. Okay. This results in the formation of more stomata over the leaves. More stomata over the leaves. More stomata over there. So when there is a more stomata means more evaporation, or there is a more transpiration, whatever. The plants may dry off. And increase in the infertile seeds for the plant. Infertile seeds. The number of infertile seeds will increase because of this dust. There may be a number of seeds, but the fertile seeds are very rare. Next, sodium chloride. Sodium, SODIUM, chloride. CHLORID, sodium chloride. Which causes necrosis. Necrosis, 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 defoliation, DEFOLIATION, defoliation. Okay. Next, agricultural chemicals like nitrous oxide, sulfur oxide. Agricultural chemicals like nitrous oxide and sulfur oxide acid rain. Which may cause acid rain. Take heading like index for measurement of air pollution. You can sit over there within the fan. Below the fan is somewhat low, otherwise you also you ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರೊಂದು ಫ್ಯಾನ್ ಹತ್ರ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಡ್ಲಲ್ಲೂ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಚೇರ್ ಎನಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಿಟ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಶೆಕೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ See, take heading index for measurement air pollution. Index for measurement air pollution. See, there are different ways of measuring air pollution. One is NAAQS, National Ambient of Air Quality. NAAQ. NAAQS. Index for measurement of air pollution. This is National Ambient. AMBIENT. National Ambient. AMBIENT. Air Quality Standards. National Ambient Air Quality Standard. This is one of the index which is for measuring the air quality. Normally air pollution generally. So here we discuss the 12 kinds of pollutants and we calculate the 12 kinds of pollutants in 612 locations entire over India. Here we calculate 12 pollutants over 612 different locations, 612 locations, out of which 254 are the city towns. 254 are the city towns. 254. So this was done by CPCB. This index or this calculation, everything, the data, everything was done by CPCB. What is CPCB? Central Pollution Control Board. Like this, there is a SPCB for the state also. But this one, NAAQS, this is the index of the CPCB. Like that, within the state also there is a SPCB, State Pollution Control Board. Like Central Pollution Control Board in CPCB. SPCB is also there. That will going to give index for the different districts of the state. Okay, like this. Next one, AQI, second one. This is another index. Air Quality Index. The National Air Quality Index. The National Air Quality Index. This is a technical study done by IIT Kanpur, Indian Institute of Technology Kanpur, KANPUR, Kanpur. The expert group from the Kanpur, IIT Kanpur, they initiated this. So 6 air quality index categories they named 6 air quality index categories. 6 air quality index categories. 6 are good. First one is good. Good means there is less pollution, very less pollution. Satisfactory. After good, next satisfactory. Good and satisfactory means not polluted. Okay. Next, moderately polluted. Moderately polluted. Next, poor. Poor means poor air quality, means polluted. Poor. Next one, very poor. Finally, severe. Severe means severely polluted. So the air pollution is very important, a vast discussed problems, not only just for India but also in international podiums. This is a matter of debate regarding air pollution because there is no boundary for the air pollution. The developed countries, because of its development activities like factories and its automobile vehicle discharge, it eliminates its pollutants to the entire environment. The same pollutants may affect the developing countries also. So, in international level, there is not many international organization against this air pollution. I will come to that in a later classes. So here in India on 1981, it brought its legislation in the parliament regarding air pollution. 1981 legislation means it brought on law regarding air pollution called Air Pollution Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1981. Air Pollution Prevention, Air Pollution Prevention and Control of Pollution Act. The Air Pollution, the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1981. The main objective of this act is to improve the quality of air. Improve the quality of air to prevent, control, or you can abate the air pollution. To control, to prevent the air pollution in the country. After this act, the industries which is working in cities, after this act, the industries which is operating in cities and nearby human habitats, after this act, the industries which is operating in cities and nearby human habitats, that become mandatory to receive, the NOC. What is NOC? Non-objection certificate. The NOC, or you can say the consent or permission. NOC or consent or permit or permission or license, whatever. From the state board of respective state board. State board means State Pollution Control Board. SPCB. So the states, depending on its own region, it can permit or it can suggest the particular industry for its maximum emission or maximum pollution. Okay. So who is the prescriber here? Not a state government. The pollution content or the maximum average of the pollution is setting by SPCB of a particular state, not the state government. This may be a full inspection. Not the state government, SPCB of a particular state. They are the standard setter. They prescribe the emission standard of any industry or automobiles. Okay. See, if you look at the RTO, there is an emission certificate, right? Emission certificate. So that emission certificate, the level of emission is not set by the state government. It was set by the SPCB, okay, State Pollution Control Board. That may depend on that particular state. The emission apex stage, or you can say the emission maximum stage, is different for different cities. If you go to Delhi, the emission maximum limit is very less. They will not allow more emission. The old vehicles and two-stroke vehicles, this two-stroke and four-stroke, these are the engine, two-stroke engine and four-stroke engine. So comparatively, two-stroke engine vehicle pollutes more. So in Delhi, two-stroke engines are banned. Okay, and old vehicles more than 15 years of service, that are also banned because of this. So these are all not set by the state government or Ministry of Transport. This is set by the SPCB. This must be in your mind. State Pollution Control Board. This was set by State Pollution Control Board. Is this clear? Yeah. The air pollution is over. Take water pollution. Water pollution. See, same definition, everything is same. Like in a say, if they ask about the water pollution, means initially I told you, the pollution definition. What is the pollution definition? Unfavorable change. Same thing. Unfavorable change in the water is water pollution. Like that. So types of water pollution. Looking at the surface where it is, what ocean, lakes and rivers, ocean pollution, river pollution, lake pollution. Looking at its surface, surface is the code word. Something ground pollution means the pollution happens in a groundwater. The pollution of the groundwater, called ground pollution. So there are two indicators. There are two indicators to know the pollution quantity. First one is chemical indicators, another one is biological indicators. Two indicators, chemical and biological indicators. So it will indicate the toxic chemicals which is present in that particular water. Chemical indicator and biological indicator. Chemical indicator, by checking for the toxic chemicals in the water, by checking toxic chemicals in the water, when that toxic element it itself acts as a pollutant, by checking that toxic element, you can say that water is a polluted water. So toxic chemical is the code word here. And in the biological indicator, by looking at the biological diversity in the water, by looking at the biological diversity, this is the code word, biological diversity. Sometimes this biological diversity itself acts as a polluter or pollutant for that aquatic ecosystem. So by looking at this one, biological diversity in that water, we can say that water is polluted or not. Okay. So what are the causes of the air pollution? Water pollution. What are the causes of water pollution? Sewage discharge to the river, right? And directly the industrial discharge directly entering into the rivers. And finally entire carbon things which comes out to the environment finally reaches the ocean itself, right? And carbon sink, the carbon is going to sink in the ocean water. Then the fertilizer industry's effluents that reaches, sometimes the chemical directly reaches, detergent industry's effluents reaches. These are different causes for the water pollution. And the main reason today all over the world, this microplastic is the biggest hazard, I can say, plastic. What is this microplastic? The plastic, after 100 years or after so many decades, it cuts down into small minute objects, cuts down to a small micro element. Okay, sometimes it is not able to see the bare eye, that much level. So when the aquatic animals, it will engulf this micro element, it will not, this microplastic, it will not able to digest. So again problem for the aquatic animals. So this microplastic is biggest reason for the water pollution today. That too in a ocean water and some of the bigger rivers. So microplastic is main pollutant in the ocean water than some of the industrial or sewage discharge or industrial discharge. So plastic pollution is the reason for the water pollution today. This must be in your mind. Plastic is the pollutant in the water pollution. So plastic after so many years it will start to cut down or it will start to convert into minute pieces and these minute pieces become a reason for its pollution. Like this. And rest of the things like chemical waste, industrial discharge, radioactive elements, when reaches the water, it will pollute it. Radioactive elements like uranium, thorium, right? The elements which is used in the radioactivity, the uranium, thorium, these are the radioactive elements. When it reaches the water sources, it will cause pollution. And most of the times within the river or within the pond, when invasive species enters that particular pond, invasive species, INVASIV, that invasive species itself acts as a pollutant for that particular pond. Okay, you know what is invasive species, right? Yeah. Next, taking effects of water pollution. What is eutrophication? While we looking at lakes, I introduced the word eutrophication of the lakes, right? What is eutrophication? EU here now. Which one? Draining of water, or we can say the lake that converted into bare land, finally in the forest. Why? What is the reason? First, the sediment entry. After that, invasive species. After that, decreasing in the depth. After that, formation of the land over there. After that, because of the biodiversity, the plants generates there, and finally into forest. So the lake into forest is eutrophication. So eutrophication is the reason for the water pollution. eutrophication. Eutrophication. Eutrophication means initially there is a lake, okay? And because of the sediments and because of the fertilizer which we use in our agri fields, when that urea and that phosphorus and that different kinds of fertilizers enters into this water, aquatic ecosystem, and along with that sedimentary or you can say the fertile soil, when it enters these particular parts, then it decreases its depth. Finally, a bare land will be generated, the lake into bare land. And it is very nutritious because of lot many fertilizers and lot many diversity in the plants. So the forest ecosystem will be generated. So it is entirely converting one ecosystem to another ecosystem. Lake into forest, that is called eutrophication. This is one of the results of the water pollution. So invasive species is also a reason for the pollution. We consider invasive species itself as a pollutant. So this is a reason for the water pollution, eutrophication. This is a natural thing. And what is the other effects of the pollution? When we drink that polluted water, it upsets our health or it hurts our health. Then it also upsets the cattle health, like that. So there's numerous, and it also affects the aquatic plants, right? Aquatic fauna, flora, and the plastic pollution within the ocean water that hurts the fishes and other aquatic organisms, as well as it affects coral reefs also, which is present over ocean, coral reefs, which is the oxygen factory of the entire ocean water. It affects that. Like this, there is a lot many effects of the air pollution, sorry, water pollution. And I discussed that biomagnification. What is biomagnification? When the toxic elements enters and that will magnify, and when that enters into another trophic level, we call it as a bioaccumulation, then biomagnification. Bioaccumulation is a single trophic level and magnification in between the trophic level. We discussed it, right? And what is the example I gave? Fish in a pond. Fish in a pond. So that is also the toxic element when enter the pond. That is the initial reason for the bioaccumulation, right? Then it will magnify, biomagnification. I told you bioconcentration, bioaccumulation, biomagnification. These are the different results of water pollution. Bioconcentration, bioaccumulation, bioaccumulation, biomagnification. Magnification means increasing the concentration of toxic in a successive trophic level, right? We discussed everything. So, the toxic element like DDT, these are all different pollutants and that will remain in that pollutants. We discussed it, right? That itself enters into the life forms, fishes to bird, so toxic element in bird, and that itself is the reason for the vultures die. Vultures normally die because of the biomagnification. So that is hazardous, or you can say that is the reason for its decreasing in number. What is the remedies for this water pollution? How we can control this water pollution? See, before getting into the river, like the industrial sewages or the industrial discharge, or you can say the sewage water, before entering into a particular natural aquatic ecosystem, right, river, like pond, like entirely directly ocean, we must treat it, right? So sewage water treatment is the best measure. Sewage water treatment, SCWAGE, sewage water treatment, STP, sewage treatment plant. Sewage treatment plant. We should plant a sewage water treatment plant. Sometimes using microbes, we can biodegradably remove the toxic elements which is present over that. Using microbes, we can degrade the toxic elements which is present over in that water. And putting ban over the plastic, we can control the plastic pollution in the ocean. Putting ban over the plastics. There are many different ways. Let us discuss some of the diseases which is caused out of the water pollution. The diseases of water pollution. The first one is black foot disease, BLACKFOOT. Black foot disease, BLACKFOOT. Black foot disease. Black foot disease. Black foot disease. Next, blue baby syndrome. You may heard about this, right? Blue baby syndrome. When excess nitrates, which it reacts with the hemoglobin. First, right, blue baby syndrome. BLUE, blue baby. BLUEBABY. Blue baby syndrome. Okay. When excess nitrates, excess NITRATS reaches the hemoglobin, when excess nitrates reaches the hemoglobin, the oxygen carrying capacity of the hemoglobin may decreases. The oxygen carrying capacity of the hemoglobin decreases. So hemoglobin turns towards blue from red. So baby looks like blue. The skin of the baby turns to blue. This is mostly we can witness in a fetus or baby because they are too delicate. In adults, we will not witness normally this one. Okay, next one, iodine 131. This is a disease name, thyroid damage. Iodine 131, thyroid damage. THYROID, thyroid damage. Iodine, IODINE, iodine 131, thyroid damage. THYROID, thyroid damage. There is a gland called thyroid glands which affects this. Next, lead anemia. Lead anemia. This is a disease name. Lead anemia. ANAEMIA. ANAEMIA. Lead LEAD. LEAD. Lead anemia. ANAEMIA. The lead contamination causes anemia. The lead contamination. Lead is a pollutant which causes anemia. What is anemia? You know this, out of 2 women in India, 1 is suffering from anemia. Means 50% of women in India, not 50% population, 50% women is suffering from anemia. Anemia is the decrease in RBC content in our blood. Okay, concentration in our blood. The decrease in RBC concentration, red blood cells concentration in our blood. Decrease in red blood concentration in our blood. So what happens when we lost RBC or the concentration of RBC losses? We lost muscular power, loss of muscular power. And every other disorder. This is enough. Next, Minamata. You may have heard about this. This is caused due to mercury contamination in water. Right? 3 years back in near Japan and some few decades back near Australia also this has happened. Okay, Minamata, M-I-N-A-M-A-T-A, Minamata. So this is because of the contamination of water with methyl mercury. Contamination of water with methyl mercury. Okay. Next, black lung disease. This is normal due to inhale of coal dust while we respiration. When we take coal dust into our lungs, black lung disease, BLACK, black lung disease. When we inhale or when we intake a coal dust, coal dust, while we respire, this may happen. Next, skeletal fluorosis. skeletal fluorosis. Skeletal fluorosis. This is because of the fluoride contamination in water. Fluoride. F-L-U-O-R-I-D-E. F-L-U-O-R-I-D. Fluoride contamination in water. Which causes teeth weak or weakness in the teeth and bone. Teeth and bone problem. And joint pains. Joint pains. These are the So Government of India brought different legislation regarding water pollution. In the 1974 legislation is famous. Take the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1974. The Water Prevention and Control of Pollution. The Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. 1974. The Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1974. Okay. Then the same act was amended on 1988. Okay. Same. The new name, the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act, Pollution Amendment Act 1988. This is enough. Amended and the 1988. So while writing about the water pollution in an essay, if you introduce this act means that is a validation for your answer. While discussing the air pollution, if you introduce that legislation means that is a validation for your answer. So don't try to remember most of the legislation. One legislation or one law or one act particular, one kind of pollution is enough. If they ask about general pollution, you can write every pollution or every different acts. If they specifically went for water pollution, specifically went for air pollution, is that particular legislation you must mention in your conclusion. Okay. So, is what was it in action? While you are concluding your answer, what is the government initiative against this? What government did against this? While discussing, okay, government brought these are the legislations to control air pollution, to control water pollution, like that. So underline, after this, underline this. That is the best conclusion in your essay. Okay. This one, Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1974, that was amended in 1980. This is the main objective to prevent water pollution and maintaining and restoring, maintaining and restoring. Restoring means already polluted. We are restoring back into non-pollution, or we are restoring back into purity. Okay, maintaining and restoring the purity of water. Maintaining and restoring the purity of water. Next. The Act Regulatory Authority. The Act Regulatory Authority in state is the State Pollution Control Board. Same thing, SPCB. State Pollution Control Board. This Act empowers this board to establish and enforce the standards. Establish and enforce the standards. Establish and enforce the standards of the pollutants. Standards of the pollutants which industries discharge into the water bodies. Which industries discharge into the water bodies. set a standard. Like this is the pollution means you have to filter it. If that pollution is less than this amount means you can directly discharge it to a river. So it will standard. It will give one standard in terms of its pollutant. Okay. Next, soil pollution is ready. See, these are just insights. Okay. While looking at newspaper, you will get lot many points. You can add to your notes. And finally, in current affairs magazine also, you will get lot many points regarding this particular pollution. Next, soil pollution is rating. SOIL, soil pollution. Soil pollutant is any factor. Pollutant is any factor which deteriorates deteriorates means which hurts or which decreases the standard. Okay, deteriorates the quality, the texture, and mineral content of the soil. Quality, texture, and mineral content of the soil. Mineral content of the soil, or which disturbs the biological balance of the organisms in the soil. Which disturbs the biological balance of the organisms in the soil. Disturb the biological balance of the organisms in the soil. See, what are the causes of this soil pollution? Somebody take causes. The indiscriminate use of fertilizers. Indiscriminate use of fertilizers. See, this is another trick here. In UPSC, if they give the statement is like the reasons or the causes for the soil pollution as a question, and they'll give different options. The third option, just imagine the third option would be like scientific use of pesticides or scientific use of fertilizers. So use of fertilizers and use of pesticides, definitely that is the reason for this soil pollution. But the word scientific is there. So scientific means or rational use means that is a safer use, or you can say they are using whatever the needs of that particular field. They are not using more than that. That means that is the main reason, that is not the main reason for the soil pollution. So you must not go for that option. Okay? So that's why I give the name indiscriminate use of fertilizers or irrational use of fertilizer. Come on, pesticides. Come on, insecticides. Pesticides means for the pest control. Pesticides, and insecticides for insect control. Insecticides, and herbicides control the unwanted herbs. Herbicides. This is one reason. And pollution due to urbanization is also a reason. Urbanization, slums and everything. URBA, NISA, TION, urbanization. Because of the cities, because of the metropolitan wastes, sewage wastes. So, dumping the large quantity of solid waste in particular place, that place soil also going to pollute. Dumping the solid waste, large amount of solid waste in particular region. Dumping the large amount of solid waste And these are the anthropogenic reasons. You can say the natural reason is like deforestation or soil erosion. Soil erosion is also a reason for the soil pollution. Soil erosion, EROSION, deforestation, deforestation, FORESTAAON, deforestation. Okay. Next, take heading effects of the soil pollution. Now tell me what happens when soil polluted. The first sector or the first thing which is going to affect which one? Agriculture. Agriculture going to affect. So the industries and the people population which depends on the agriculture also going to hurt because the crop yield going to reduces. Cost of agriculture may increases. The effects agriculture going to hurt. So crop yield going to reduces and agri-allied activities going to decreases. Agri-allied activities like poultry, dairy, honey bee keeping, everything. Okay? These are all. And reduces the soil fertility. When fertility of the soil reduces, the farmers needs to put more fertilizer. Again, agriculture become costly. Fertility of the soil reduces. Okay. Even in our last class we discussed some of the nitrogen fixing bacteria. Nitrogen is very important for the plants to grow, right? The nitrogen which is present in the open environment, the plant not able to absorb. It should be in ammonia and nitrate forms, right? Plant to absorb. And that was done by the microbial, or you can say microbes. That microbes may not live when there is a soil pollution. So nitrogen fixation going to hurt. When there is a soil pollution, it also affects nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation. Because nitrogen fixing bacteria may vanish out or may decrease its number, may lost, whatever. So these are the things which may increase the salinity of the soil, increases the acidity of the soil, or increases the erosion. Soil erosion may happen. So soil leach out. So when this was happen, there is a problem for the ecological balance, right? Ecological imbalances may happen and it affects the diversity. Ecological imbalance. See, I am just introducing different words, keywords in your answers. Okay, these are the keywords you must insert in the soil erosion answers. Ecological imbalance. Okay, and it hurts the diversity. Ecological imbalance hurts the diversity and reduces the vegetation. Ecological imbalance, IMBALANC, and reduces vegetation. And what is the remedy for this? How we can control soil pollution? See, because of bringing some legislation or avoiding pesticide or avoiding fertilizers which is normally used in the agri fields, we can decrease the amount of chemicals which is coming in contact with the soil, right? So by controlling fertilizers in the agriculture, by controlling pesticides, insecticides in the agriculture, we can control the toxic elements from getting enter into the soil. Okay, just don't write entire story, just write some of the insects. By controlling fertilizer, insecticides, pesticides, this is enough. So slowly everything you can write it in your exam. And solid waste treatment, solid waste is another reason for the soil pollution. So treating that solid waste treatment. You can putting up or you can construct the treatment plants. Solid waste treatment. By constructing solid waste treatment plants, you can control the soil erosion. 3S, you can use it for any kind of pollution. Okay, three R's. What is 3 R's? 3R. Reduce, recycle, and reuse. Reduce. You can connect this to plastic also. You can reduce. You should reduce the plastics, and you can recycle that plastics, and you can reuse that plastic also. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay, and our Prime Minister introduced the new word for this. Now it is 4S. He told refuse also. Like refuse the plastic. If somebody is giving plastic, somebody is giving something from the plastic, means just refuse it. Means don't take it. So now it's 4S, 4R. These are different styles of answering. And refuse also. You can refuse something which is toxic to the environment. If the fertilizer you find that is toxic for the particular land, means you can refuse that particular fertilizer, that particular insecticides, pesticides, whatever. So, if you look at the plastic, you can refuse the plastics because it again hurts the water quality. Next, take it in radioactive pollution. This is another kind of pollution. Radioactive pollution. Radioactive pollution. Radioactivity is a phenomenon. Radioactivity is a phenomenon. PHENOMENON. Phenomenon of spontaneous emission of proton. Spontaneous, S-P-O-N-taneous, T-A-N, S-P-O-N-T-A-N, spontaneous, T-A-N-E-O-U-S, spontaneous emission of proton, E-M-I-S-S-I-O-N, P-R-O-T-O-N, proton, spontaneous emission of protons, within bracket alpha particles, comma, electrons, E-L-E-C-T-R-O-N-S, electrons, within bracket beta particles, BETA, and gamma rays, G-A-M-M-A, gamma rays, within bracket short wave electromagnetic waves, short wave W-A-V-E, short wave electromagnetic waves, gamma rays, close the bracket. Due to disintegration of, close the bracket and continue, due to disintegration of atomic nuclei of some elements. Due to disintegration of atomic nuclei of some elements. Due to disintegration of atomic nuclei of some elements. Atomic nuclei of some elements. The next point. Radioactive pollution occurs. Next point, right? Radioactive pollution occurs when there is a presence of or deposition of radioactive elements. When there is a presence or deposition of radioactive elements. Okay. Radioactive elements is the main reason for the radioactive pollution. Take causes as negative. Causes. What are the causes of radioactive elements? See, normally where we will use radioactive elements? Thorium, uranium. Where we will use? In the nuclear power plants, right? Sometimes accidentally that will spill over from the nuclear reactors and nuclear power plants. So this accidental discharge or accidental spill over or nuclear accidents from the nuclear reactor or from the nuclear power plant is the main reason for this pollution. And another thing, there was a bomb attack over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan, two cities, right? Till today, there is an effect out of that. So this nuclear bombs is also another reason for the nuclear radioactive pollution. Nuclear bombs. Nuclear bombs. Okay. See, sometimes in options, instead of nuclear bombs, what they will give? The weapons of mass destructions. This may be one of the options. That means a nuclear bomb itself. So that is also a reason for the radioactive pollution. They give a statement is like this, consider which are all the reasons or the cause for the radioactive pollution. This is a statement or this is a question, and they will give different options. One is a nuclear power plant, and another reason is the weapons of mass destructions. So weapon of mass destruction is a nuclear bomb. You must come to that kind of conclusion in your examination. Weapons of mass destructions, nuclear bomb. So in nuclear bomb attack, there is an emission or emergence of the nuclear chemicals. So again, that will cause radioactive pollution. Next, use of radioisotopes in medicine is another factor. Use of radioisotopes, RADIO, radioisotopes, ISOTOPES, isotopes is another reason. And radiation tests. Normally, in research and development of particular company, that to mobile or other electronic company, they will do this radiation test. That is another reason for this radioactive pollution. And most of the time, cosmic rays also causes radioactive pollution. Cosmic rays, COSMIC, cosmic rays. Okay. See what happens, what is the effects of this radioactive pollution? Take heading like effects of radioactive pollution. What is the result? What happens? I told you, even today it is the peoples of Japan, they are experiencing the problems. What kind of problems they are experiencing? There is a physical disability. Why this physical disability? Because their genes got mutated. The mutation of the genes may happen. The effects, the mutation of the genes, genetic mutation, MUTATION, mutation means change in the sequence of the gene. Mutation means change in the sequence of the gene. What is gene? Gene is a kind of which connects our character into our next generation, right? This is a transporter, or you can say it's a conductor for next generation or future generation, from one generation to next generation. Through genes, the characters of the parent transfer to its fetus. So while transferring, if that parent experiences radioactive pollution, means the genes also alter. So gene alteration happens. That itself is a genetic mutation. Genetic mutation, most of the times it affects negatively. Physical disabilities may happen. Okay. Most of the time, genetic disabilities, genetic problems. And diseases like cancer, leukemia, leukemia. These are the other disorder which is occurred due to radiations. Okay? And most importantly, this radioactive pollution pollute the soil also. This is another reason for the soil pollution. This will pollute the soil. Okay, again which increase increases bioconcentration, biomagnification, biomagnification, and it burns out the cells of the organisms, cell destructions, and it burns the skins, and cell destructions happens. So these are the different causes, effects of the radioactive. So what is the remedial measures? How we can control this? Take reading remedial measures. How we can control? See, the main reason of these acts is because of nuclear reactors, right? So, a safe discharge of the nuclear waste from the nuclear reactor, radioactive waste, safe disposal, a proper way of disposal of the nuclear reactor, radioactive elements from the nuclear reactor, a safe disposal of the radioactive wastes or radioactive elements from the nuclear reactor is the reason. By doing this, we can control. And proper usage of these radioactive elements in the industries, like labeling them, handling them by experts only. Proper use of radioactive materials, that are hazardous radioactive elements, by labeling them and used only by the experts. Okay. And bringing legislations in international level over mass destructions like nuclear bombs, bringing legislations in international levels for nuclear bombs, and banning within India for nuclear tests. Most of the times our DRDO and rest of the research groups, they will test the nuclear bombs. While testing also, most of the radioactive elements may reaches the environment. That itself causes radioactive pollution. So ban on this testing of nuclear bombs also within India, and banning the entire using nuclear bombs in worldwide. Okay. And today we are depending on this radioactive material in nuclear energy, right? Nuclear power plant, right? So that should not be the case. We must move away from this, or we must search for the alternative for the radioactive elements in the nuclear power plants. We must search for the alternative for nuclear radioactive elements for nuclear power plant. Today we are using these radioactive elements in the nuclear power plant. That should not be the case. We must find alternative for this nuclear power plant. Okay. These are the different remedial measures. And safe discharge of nuclear waste. Everything we discuss. Scientific waste discharge. These are the different. So these are the normal pollution, but in digital India, that too after LPG, using technology is the new kind of lifestyle. So because of this kind of lifestyle, we are generating e-waste. What is this e-waste? E-waste. Electronic waste. So this is another pollution. Another reason for the pollution. Electronic waste. Take reading as a e-waste. Electronic waste. In a short form, we will call it as a e-waste. This is the major reason for the pollution today. E-waste. If you look at any electrical equipment or the motherboard, everything is non-biodegradable, right? So that will remain in the atmosphere. Most of the times it may reaches to the ocean also. So it is hazardous. So proper recycling of the e-waste is not. That is not the standard procedure of India. It is not replacing. So it is causing e-waste pollution in India. Okay. Write something. The discarded, discarded, and end of life END, end of life electronic products, end of life electronic products ranging from computers, mobiles to home appliances, HOME, home appliances, APPLIANCES, home appliances, popularly known as electronic waste or e-waste. Next point, if we store it properly in a scientific manner, and able to recycle it, it is not a hazardous. Then it is not a hazardous. That means if we treat it properly, that will not act as a pollutant. If we didn't treat it, if we left like without doing anything, then that will act as a pollutant. If we treat it properly by recycling and everything, it will not act as a pollutant. Okay, like this. So different pollutants. Take first one as lead. Lead is one of the e-waste pollutant, LEAD. Okay. The sources is the lead which is used in the glass panels of the digital screen. Sources, LEAD, lead. Sources used in the glass panels of the digital screen. Glass panels in the digital screens. And soldered electronic circuits. We'll do soldering. What is solder? Jointing and removing using that heat. Soldered electronic circuits. So these are the different sources for the lead. How it affects our body, lead? It causes damage to central and peripheral nervous systems. Central and peripheral nervous system. NERVOUS, nervous system damage. Okay. What happens when there is a damage to the nervous system? Brain dead, right? Nervous system connecting brains with the rest of the organs, right? Electrical impulses, we mentioned, right? So that will affect, and it also affects the kidney failure. That happens. Next, cadmium. This is another e-waste. CADMION. The source is chip. 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 Resistors and infrared detector in the electronics. Infrared detectors. Infrared, INFRARED, infrared detectors. So, see, this will start to accumulate in the body. It will not digest or accumulate in the body. Finally, it affects the kidney damages. The cadmium going to accumulates in the body. Accumulates means where it will accumulate. It will accumulate in kidney itself. So finally kidney damage may happens. Okay, next mercury. Mercury from the sensors, switches, SENSOR, sensor switches and display panels. So it damages the organs. including brain and kidney. Next, chromium, CHROMIUM, chromium. Releases from the PVC plastics. PVC plastic is the source. Chromium, PVC plastic. PVC plastic cause damage to DNA. DNA. Next, barium, BARIUM. From electronic equipment to prevent flames. In every electronic equipment, to prevent flames, they use it barium. And also from the display. This causes brain swelling and muscle weakness. Brain swelling and muscle weakness. Okay. These are the different things. Enough. What is bioremediation? Did I discuss this? Bioremediation. See, what is remediation? Remedy, treatment, something. Bioremediation means using bioorganisms, most of the times microorganisms. We convert polluted into non-polluted or purified. Using microorganisms, we eliminate the pollutants which is present in particular environment. Most of the times we using microorganisms for water pollution. The pollutant which is present in the water, by using microorganisms, we eliminate it. The pollutant which is present in that region, in that water. So it is called bioremediation. Take it in. I'll take it. Bioremediation. Bioremediation. REBIOREMEDIATION. Remediation. Okay. Bioremediation is the use of microorganisms like bacteria, like fungi, use of microorganisms bacteria, fungi to degrade the environmental contaminants. Degrade environmental contaminants or pollutants. You can say within bracket. Environmental contaminants or pollutants into less toxic form. Into less toxic form. Into less toxic form. Okay. Again, there is two kinds of bioremediation. One is in situ, another one is ex situ. Like we discussed the same in production, right? In situ conservation and ex situ. What is in situ conservation? We discussed it, right? In situ and ex situ. What is in situ conservation? I give an example of tiger, I guess, right? In situ and ex situ. Like this, there is two kinds of bioremediation, in situ remediation and ex situ remediation. Now tell me, the same concept. There conservation, here remediation. What is in situ conservation? Conserving the wild animal in its natural habitat is in situ. Ex situ means take out from its habitat and kept it in a zoo or kept it in our environment and giving everything like a spoon feeding for that, giving meat directly to it instead of that predator-free concept, or instead of left it in a free open forest. We are rearing it in a what we call newly formed alternative habitat. That is In situ. So what is this in situ remediation, the ex situ remediation? First of all, remediation means using microorganisms and eliminating the pollutants. When we use microorganisms to discharge pollutants, or you can say to decrease the amount which is there in the pollutants, if we use the microorganisms directly to the source of its pollution, like consider there is a pollution in particular pond ಅಲ್ಲಿ pollution ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ನಾವು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು microorganisms ಆಗಿದೆ, and it will engulf, ತಿನ್ನೋದು microorganisms ಎಲ್ಲ toxic elements ತಿನ್ನೋದು. So finally that pond becomes very clear, there is no pollutants. So this pond is not a artificial thing, this is a natural, and we introduced microorganisms in that particular pond. So this is what in situ or ex situ. In situ means we will not take that water for our land, we are introducing there itself, right? In situ. Ex situ means what? If we take out that water using canals or using pipes, if we take out that particular water in some other fields where we feel easy for its purification, and we introduce the microorganisms here in our land, then that will become ex situ. In situ means conserving in its natural habitat, or not conserving again. That is in situ protection. Means in situ bioremediation means treatment of contaminated material. Treatment of contaminated material by using microorganisms. Treatment of contaminated material by using microorganisms in its original site itself. In its original site itself. That is in situ bioremediation. Okay. Ex situ means removal of contaminated material. Removal of contaminated material by using organisms, by using microorganisms. Outside from its original site are treated elsewhere. Outside from its original site and treated elsewhere. This is ex situ bioremediation. Okay. See, take advantages of bioremediation as I think. Advantages. Useful for the complete destruction of the pollutants. Useful for the complete destruction of the wide variety of pollutants or contaminants. Wide variety of contaminants or wide variety of pollutants. Useful for the complete destruction of wide variety of pollutants. And useful for specific contaminants or specific pollutants. What is the specific? See, some of the microorganisms will only engulf some of the chemicals or some of the particular pollutants. So treating or giving or introducing that particular microbes into that particular part or that particular pollutant place. So this specificity is there in bioremediation. Okay. So the word specificity is very important. Next, it is less expensive compared to other sewage water treatment or industrial dispute, industrial wastewater treatment. Compared to that and all, industrial discharge treatment compared to that and all, this is very cost effective because here only we are investing on microbes, nothing else. We are just leaving microbes to purify, right? And it is environment friendly also. If you look at some other, the wastewater treatment and solid waste treatment and some other industrial discharge treatments, hardcore chemicals are used in that. Here it is environment friendly. That chemical itself again become pollutant in the environment, again causes different environmental pollution. So this is environment friendly. So these microbes may not harm directly to the environment. Okay. So there are some disadvantages also. What is the disadvantages maybe? How we can say it is also having some disadvantages? On which note? Is there any disadvantages? Yes, obviously. It is not that much effective where we use it in an industrial sewage water treatment, using chemicals and all, or using some big machineries, using some big infrastructure. It is not that much effective. The efficiency is less. And more than anything, it is only limited for biodegradable pollutants, right? It is only limited for biodegradable pollutants. Something is not biodegradable means what? The chemicals which is degraded by the microorganisms. Means the microorganisms able to eat that pollution or eat that pollutant, eat that toxic element. That kind of toxic elements maybe can be eliminated using these microorganisms. So it is only specifically for biodegradable pollutants. Non-biodegradable pollutants like DDT, like other non-biodegradable, example plastic pollution, DDT. These are pollutions is not able to eliminate using microbes, right? So this is only for the biodegradable one. These are the two disadvantages. One is not efficient or not up to the mark compared to other infrastructural water treatment or infrastructural solid waste treatment or discharge treatment. And another thing, it is only for the biodegradable, not for the non-biodegradable. Okay? These are the two disadvantages. And you can use this point also. This is a time consuming. If you look at other kind of, that is very fast. Other kind of treatment are very fast. This is very time consuming. It may take number of days, it may take even weeks. Okay. Next, the final one is take plastic pollution as a quick plastic pollution. Plastic pollution. See, there are two kinds in the plastic. Okay, one is thermoplastic. THERMO, thermoplastic, and thermoset plastic. Thermo and thermoset or thermosetting plastics. You can call it thermoset and thermoplast. So which is mostly used which one? Like these bottles, okay, these carry bags. Most of them we use which one? Which kind of plastics? 80% of our daily use plastics are the thermoplastics. Only 20% of the plastics are thermoset plastics. This is important for our clients. 80% of our plastics are thermoplast and 20% are thermosetting plastics. The thermoplastics are recyclable plastics. Recyclable plastics, which includes PET, polyethylene, 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 terephthalate, TEREPHTHALATE, TEREPHTHALATE. Okay, this is next. Thermoset plastics are Thermoset plastic contains alkyd, 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 ester, 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 etc. Okay. Take heading area. Plastic waste management. Plastic waste management. So, if something comes related to plastic waste means, they may ask in prelims which ministry comes under this, under which ministry plastic waste comes, under which ministry? Is it comes under Ministry of Science and Development? No. Under which ministry? Ministry of Forest, Environment and Climate Change. Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Plastic waste comes under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. This is a single ministry, okay? Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, single ministry. Okay. Union government brought plastic waste management rules 2016. Plastic waste management rules 2016. Plastic waste management rules 2016. According to this, manufacturer, supplier and seller of the plastics, manufacturer, supplier and seller of the plastics across the nation will be required to phase out PHASEOUT, will be required to phase out, underline phase out a single use plastic. Okay. This move was preceded by preceded by a statewide ban in Maharashtra. Underline this. These are valid addition for your answer. The statewide ban in Maharashtra. On manufacture, usage and sale of even import of plastic bags. Statewide ban on manufacture, usage, sale, even import of plastic bags. And all disposable products which is made out of plastics was banned in Maharashtra. And all disposable products which is made out of plastics. Disposable means single time use, not able to recycle. One time use. All disposable products made out of plastics is banned in Maharashtra. So this is a lesson for the Union government. By looking at the Maharashtra's initiative, Union government in 2016 brought plastic waste management rules 2016. Okay, this is the thing. This is a value addition for your plastic pollution answer. Okay, this pollution chapter over. Fine. Any difficulty here? Alright. High school chapter. What is that? Next, take anything like environmental issues. Let us discuss some of the environmental issues like there is an issue of ozone depletion, right? And different kinds of ozone holes. Let us discuss what is that. Environmental issues. In the first one, take heading ozone hole. Ozone hole. What is ozone? Ozone is a kind of gas which is present in our upper atmosphere, right? O3, O2 plus O, oxygen plus O. Ozone is good for our environment or is it bad? Good. If it is in the upper atmosphere, then it is good. If it is in a lower atmosphere, then it is bad. Okay, right like that only. Because that itself acts as a pollutant when it is in a lower atmosphere. Okay. Ozone in the upper atmosphere, it is needed. Not only good. Without ozone, there is no life in there because sun rays is directly getting entered into the lower atmosphere. So ozone is the needed, or you can say mandatory kind of things for the life forms which is present below atmosphere. So ozone is the something precious element. So ozone which is present in the lower atmosphere, then if ozone present in lower atmosphere or if it comes to lower atmosphere, then itself is the hazardous things. That is not good. Okay. So what is ozone? It's a gas first of all. Ozone is a gas which is made up of oxygen molecule, right? It's a gas made up of molecules. So when 3O plus O plus O, 3 oxygen atom combined together to form O3, right? Most of the times we will write O2 plus O. Okay. When we combine one oxygen atom to the one oxygen atom to the existing oxygen gas, the ozone going to form. Okay. So when this oxygen atoms or ozone, how it forms? Sunlight is needed for the formation of the ozone layer, because when sunlight hits to the oxygen gas, the oxygen atoms which comes out from that oxygen gas, sun rays, right like that only. When sun rays hits to the oxygen gas, the oxygen atom, ATOMs, atoms, which, or you can say individual oxygen atoms which comes out from that oxygen gas, and these oxygen atoms join together to form a O3. Okay, these oxygen join together to form a O3. So this kind of definition is important while writing ozone hole. You should write the definition how it forms. So sunlight is the main reason for the ozone formation. Without sunlight there is no ozone. Okay. So individual atoms, when they join together along with the oxygen, it forms ozone. That is different. So what is this hole? Ozone hole means what? See, I told you, ozone is a kind of gas, a mass of gases. Consider this is in different layers of atmosphere, and in particular place of the atmosphere, there is a large, huge masses of the gas. It's a layer of the gas, nothing more than that. There is no solid. Okay, here it is not at all solid. It's a gas only, and it's a layer of gas which thickly concentrated in this region. Layer of gas, which it's a kind of band, you can say gas band, thickly concentrated in particular region. And what is the need of this ozone? Most of the time, it stops the sun rays. Most of the time it stops, and very few sun rays will percolate down. Okay. If there is no ozone layer, means we are not able to sustain in the environment, because sun rays directly falls into or reaches the earth. So it acts as an absorber, or it acts as a barrier for the direct entry of the sunlight into the nature or into the atmosphere. So when sun rays directly enters, means it just what happens when sun rays directly enters the atmosphere? That is a disaster. Okay. So ozone layer should be there. And what is this ozone hole? Ozone hole is not like, ether hole. This is not a thing. Complete hole direct sun rays, that is not the case. See, the decreasing in the band, or you can see decreasing in the width of the ozone is called ozone depletion or ozone hole. Okay, decreasing in the air mass. In particular area, this may extend up to kilometers. In particular area, it may reach us in few meters, right? Like this. This is called ozone hole. This area is called ozone hole. This area. The band, or again the size of the ozone, or the thickness of the ozone in particular region may decreases. And what is the reason for its decrease in the size of the thickness? There are numerous reasons for that. Most of the some of the gases which acts as a descriptor for the ozone. What kind of gases? The gases which emanates out of our refrigerator, chlorofluorocarbons, and our ACs, and our some of the cooling devices. The gases which comes out of cooling devices like fridges, ACs, most of the times it is called chlorofluorocarbons. This acts as a destructor for the ozone. So when chlorofluorocarbons or some of the other destructor, when it reaches the ozone depletion happens. Ozone depletion means again that converts O3 into O2 plus O. When chlorofluorocarbon reaches O3, O2 plus O, this may result in, so again there is no ozone. Ozone converts into oxygen and another oxygen atom. Okay. So the thickness of the ozone going to decreases. So that itself is called as a ozone depletion or ozone hole. So what is the problem? What happens? If we left like this only, one day it might become like this also. Means entire depletion. If we left like this only, after increasing the chlorofluorocarbons, it will deplete entire ozone layer of the atmosphere. So when it depletes entire ozone layer, means what? Sun rays starts directly entering into the atmosphere. When it starts, entire life forms over the nature or entire life forms over the earth going to destroy. So ozone layer should be there. Okay, take heading like this: ozone in troposphere. Ozone in troposphere. See, different layers of the atmosphere. Troposphere comes in which layer? First initial layer, right? So I told you, ozone in the lower atmosphere is bad. It acts as a greenhouse gas, right? So ozone in troposphere as a heading. Tropospheric ozone, right? Tropospheric ozone is only about 10% of the total amount of ozone. Tropospheric ozone is only about 10%. Only about 10% of total amount of ozone. This acts as a greenhouse gas. What is this greenhouse gas? Did we discuss about this in our class? Greenhouse. By discussing greenhouse effect, I discussed, I guess. No? See, Hasirumani. You know this, what is that? Plant cellular nursery. What is this ceremony? Greenhouse. See, some of the gases, by character itself, it will not act as a barrier for the insolation, solar insolation. Means it will allow solar insolation, but acts as a barrier for the Earth's radiation. What is Earth's radiation? When solar hits the Earth, the reflection of the solar rays from the Earth is called Earth's radiation. Some of the gases is open for both solar insolation and Earth radiation. That is not a problem. But most of the gases, like oxygen acts as open for both insolation and the Earth's radiation. But some of the gases, it enters or it permits the entry of the solar insolation, but it blocks the outgoing Earth's radiation. It enters or it permits the insulating solar radiation or entering solar radiation. Some of the gases which permit the entry of solar lights or solar insolation, which permit the entry of the solar insolation, and it acts as a barrier for the Earth's radiation to move out of the atmosphere. It acts as a barrier for the Earth's radiation, underline Earth's radiation, acts as a barrier for Earth's radiation, underline, for move out of the atmosphere. So what happens when solar insulating and that is not going out of the atmosphere? What happens to temperature of that particular region? Increases or decreases? See, where you left it, I'll explain it. Where you left? You finished it, right? Then answer my question. See, what happens to that particular region when there is a solar insolation and there is no moving out of that Earth's radiation? Only insolation happening, but the races is not moving out. No. What happens to temperature of that particular environment? Going to increases, right? That is what global warming. When there is a greenhouse, see, these kind of gases are called greenhouse gases. The greenhouse gases, which character itself, it enters the Earth's radiation and it blocks the, it enters or it allows the solar insolation or it blocks the Earth radiation. These kind of gases are called greenhouse gases. Hasiru mane anila, greenhouse gases. So greenhouse gases are the reason for global warming, and global warming is the reason for ice melt. Right? There is a cryosphere like Himalaya, right? Like Himachal Pradesh, and most of the icebergs, it is melting. Because of the ice melt, what is happening? Sea water rise happening. Sea water rise, because the melted ice is reaching the ocean water. When sea water rises, what happens? The coastal cities may submerge in the water. Like there is a news, Bombay hote, 100 years biಟ್ಟು Bombay ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ fake news ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. Not actually fake. Okay. Some amount may submerge because of the global warming. The ice cubes or the icebergs is going to melt, and because of this, the extra water which is previously present in these icebergs is going to add to sea water, right? So this sea water level going to increases. When sea water level increases, the places or the cities which is present periphery of that particular sea is going to submerge. This is quite common. So these greenhouse greenhouse gases having simultaneous effects. Greenhouse gases to global warming to ice cubes melt or cryosphere melting, and here to sea water rise to submerging of the coastal cities. It is having numerous effects. Okay. So why I come here? Because of greenhouse gases. Okay. This ozone acts as a greenhouse gas when it is there in the troposphere. Okay. So if the question is like the troposphere ozone is good, the answer is the statement is wrong. The ozone in the upper atmosphere is good. The ozone in the troposphere or the lower atmosphere is always bad because it acts as a greenhouse gas. Are you getting my class? Understand the topic, right? So what is greenhouse gas? The gas which is having characteristics by itself, which allows sun rays to get in, and it blocks the Earth's radiation to move out. Or so this ozone is also having that kind of characteristics. Because of that, this ozone is also greenhouse gas. Understand? Fine. Next, tropospheric ozone is short-lived greenhouse gas. Short-lived. Tropospheric ozone is short-lived greenhouse gas, and it is an atmospheric pollutant. Atmospheric pollutant. It may cause respiratory hazardous. While breathing along with oxygen, if we intake the ozone, means it may cause respiratory hazardous. Okay, and how it affects the plants? It decreases the crop yield, or we can say reduction in the agriculture yield, cropping. Okay. See, these are all the ozone present in troposphere. If the ozone present in the stratosphere, means upper layer, means that is good only, right? It acts as a barrier for the sunlight. So take ozone in the stratosphere. That layer you know, right? Troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. We discussed it in our geography class. Are you able to connect? Now take ozone in the stratosphere. We discussed it, right? Ozone in the stratosphere. Stratopause, there is a word called stratopause. In that, above that stratopause we have ozone. Okay. Ozone in the stratopause, or you can say stratosphere, or we can say high atmosphere ozone. Is highly concentrated than the lower atmosphere. Highly concentrated means thickness is more in this region. And it is formed when sun rays hits the oxygen molecule. It is formed when sun rays hits the oxygen molecule. And it is formed when sun rays hits the oxygen molecule. Okay. And it concentrates to form a plane. It concentrates to form a plane, or you can say layer. Form a plane or layer. Itself called ozone layer. O-Z-O-N-E-L-A-Y-E-R. Ozone layer. Plane or layer. Okay. Take heading like importance. What is the importance of ozone layer? Ozone molecule in the atmosphere provide us important protection from the rays of the sun. It is good at absorbing ultraviolet rays present in the sunlight. It absorbs ultraviolet rays present in sunlight. It absorbs ultraviolet rays present in sunlight. Which otherwise cause sunburns. Which otherwise means this ultraviolet is very bad. Which cause sunburns. Which otherwise cause sunburns or skin cancers. Skin cancers. Okay. Next, subheading like ozone hole. Right? Ozone hole is technically not a hole. See, this must be in your introduction. If they ask something about the ozone hole in your mains, in your introduction itself is it's not a hole. That means you are telling to the examiner directly, I know what is it. Okay. Technically, it is not a hole where no ozone is present, but it is actually It is not a hole where no ozone is present. Where no ozone is present, but it is actually depleting the ozone, and you can say decreasing its thickness. It is actually decreasing its thickness and depleting ozone. In the region. Okay. Sometimes they may ask how we can calculate the ozone hole by using Dobson. D-O-B-S-O-N. Dobson. D-O-B-S-O-N. Dobson unit. Dobson unit. See, 220 is the standard. If Dobson unit is less than 220, means that is the ozone depletion. If Dobson unit is more than 220, means there is ozone predominance. Dobson unit is the measuring yard of the ozone. Sometimes they are asking, please, what is the measuring yard of ozone? Means they ask Dobson. D-O-B-S-O-N. Okay. Takes about ozone depleting substances. Let us discuss what are the different pollutants which may deplete the ozone. Ozone depleting substances. First one is chlorofluorocarbon. Chlorofluorocarbon. CFC. Chlorofluorocarbon. So these are the ozone depleting substances. First one, chlorofluorocarbon. FLUO. Okay. Chlorofluorocarbon. CFC. This is the main reason for the ozone depletion. Right. Main reason for the ozone depletion. Normally used in a coolant. Usually used in a coolant. C-O-O-L-A-N-T. Coolant. In refrigerator. Coolants in refrigerator. Normally used in coolant in refrigerator. And air conditioner used in cars. ACs in car. Air conditioner used in cars. It also used in industrial solvent. And foam products. FOAM. Foam products. Like detergents. Foam products. Next, methyl chloroform. Another example. See, example for ozone depleting substance is very important. Then ask in prelims, which are all ozone depleting substances? They may give different examples. First one is chlorofluorocarbon. Second one is methyl chloroform. Which is usually used in industries for chemical processing. Next one, carbon tetrachloride. Use it as a solvent. Next, bromine. Okay. Next, hexachloroethylene. fluorocarbon. These are different examples for ozone depleting substances. Hexachlorofluorocarbons and bromine. Okay. There was different environmental conventions, international level, like Vienna Convention, Kigali Agreements, Montreal Protocol. These are the different conventions, which is, the purpose of this convention is for ozone hole, like decreasing the ozone, decreasing substances, or you can say ozone depleting substances like hexafluorocarbons or chlorofluorocarbons. These are international agreements. Let us discuss this in the next class. Okay, it's already 4:40. Yes, let's stop. Okay, tomorrow by the evening, let's try. I'll try to finish it off, but let's see. This is what we need to do. Let's see what happens. Right? Enough. Thank you so much.